What's a QR code? Should you use it on your products? And if so, how? Stick around, we're going to talk about it. Hey everybody and welcome. My name is Roy and today we're going to talk about QR codes. What is a QR code? Well, this is a QR code. So if you don't know what one is, take your camera phone out, open your camera app, point it at this QR code, and it should prompt you to open up your web browser to this website. Feel free to pause that and try it if you don't know what a QR code is. Let's talk a little bit about the history, what they are, and how we can use QR codes in our business, whether it be sublimation, crafting, small business world. We're going to talk mainly today about sublimation and using it on products. But first, let's talk about what a QR code is. QR stands for quick response, and it's a type of matrix barcode, otherwise known as a two-dimensional barcode. It was invented in 1994 by a Japanese company called Denso Wave, and it was used to tag automotive parts. And I first heard about QR codes, I want to say the early 2000s. I was really excited about it because of what I thought the possibilities could be. And it kind of tanked, it didn't go anywhere. And then probably I'd say 4 or 5 years ago, it started gaining some traction and it's used quite a bit now. But what I want to do is talk about where you should use it and maybe where you shouldn't, at least from what I think. Before we get into that though, let's figure out, well, if you want a QR code, how do you get it? You make it. Let's go to the computer and look. All you have to do is search QR code generator. And the one that I use is let's see, where is it? There it is. the-qrcode-generator.com. And then I want to grab my URL from the website that I am making the QR code for. And then we're going to go back to the generator and I will enter that in the space to put the URL, and there is my code. So I just need to copy that and we've got the QR code. All right, now you've generated a barcode. What do we do with it and what do we not do with it? Where do we use it? Where do we not use it? And I'm going to give you my thoughts. So some places not to use it. First, I don't know if you've seen it, but sometimes people will put this huge, not quite this big, but a huge barcode on a tumbler or a mug or whatever. And to me, that looks tacky. QR codes can be read when they're very small. So I think smaller is better. Now, that said, if you have a phone case and you're wanting to promote your business, what a great place to put it. Just put on the back of a phone case, sublimate you a phone case, put your logo, and below that, nice big, you can put your QR code. And when somebody says, oh, that's cool, you can just open it up, they take a picture of it, and boom, they've got your website. So that's certainly a place that you can use it and use it rather large. I do find, and I'm going to show you an example in a minute where it's probably too large and becomes too noticeable. Some places you should not use it if you're ever doing we're going to talk tumblers for right now. If you're ever doing a tumbler that has any type of intellectual property, or it's just a product or it's just a design that someone else has done, you don't want to put your QR code on there. And let me give you a good legitimate example. Let's say I've got my nephew is an amazing artist, and let's say he gives me a piece of art that he wants me to put onto a tumbler. Of course I'm going to do that. And if he has his business and wants me to put his QR code on there, absolutely. But I would never put my QR code on something like that. Also, if I'm going and selling a tumbler or a set of tumblers to Joe's Taco Shop, I'd never put my QR code on his tumbler. However, I'd certainly put his QR code on his design. Which brings me to another place that's fantastic for using QR codes, and I highly recommend it. If you go to a mom and pop business, let's say you've got Joe's Taco Shop. Go up to Joe's Taco Shop and say, hey, listen, I can take your logo, I can create this amazing tumbler, and I can also add your QR code. So anybody that takes a look at that QR code, it's going to take them straight to your website. So that's a fantastic sell for a small mom and pop. I highly encourage that. I like using them sometimes. I've got a few examples here that I want to show you. Let's go with this first example. It's a design that I did a while back, a whoop-ass design. And this is the QR code that I had put on it. And quite honestly, it's a little bit large. After I put it on, I was like, whatever. I wanted to try to make the design so it was similar in size to that, but it could have been a little bit smaller. So I'm gonna make this smaller now. Let's go to the computer and let me show you what I'm talking about with this particular design. So here is the design. Now, I could do this two ways. I could just take a copy of the QR code that I already have and bring it into this file, but I'm going to do it a little bit differently so you can see some different steps that you can do. And this is the more complicated way, but at least it's showing a little bit of some things you can do in Photoshop Elements. So I need to select all of the black on that QR code so I can create an all black QR code. Let's say I didn't have the original, but I've got to make a copy of it. If I use the clone tool and select it all in the black, it would select all the black in the entire image. So I just want to get the black from that little section. So I'll using the clone stamp, select similar, and then I will copy that section, paste it, and now I have the QR code with no background, all black. So now what I'm going to need to do is use the clone stamp tool to erase the existing larger QR code. And because this is a bit of a gradient, I have to make sure that I'm using the clone stamp horizontally and to the left of where I want to clone. And that'll keep the colors in the gradient. Okay, we have the original QR code now deleted. And again, I could just bring in my QR code that I have as a PNG file, but I wanted to do it a little bit differently so you could see. Let's say you don't have the original and don't have a way to get the original of something. So I'm going to shrink this down and I'm going to put it against that recycle, whatever it is thing. And, you know, it looks a little bit, actually the recycle image looks too big now, but anyway, we'll deal with that in a second. So we can go back now and delete that first little copy we made of the QR code to isolate it. Now I'm going to merge those two together. So now I have a new design and I am going to copy both of those and use the feather tool to soften the edges, and we will paste that down, and then I'm going to adjust that just a little bit. I don't know that I liked it exactly how it was, so I want to center it up, maybe make it a little bit smaller. I've got to be careful of that gradient background though, that I don't make it too much smaller or too much bigger, then you'll be able to see the difference in the gradient. Okay, so that's it. I'm not sure that I like the size of that large recycle, so we need to fix that. So I didn't like the way that looks by itself. It stood out, and the goal of this for the QR code is that it doesn't stand out. So I went online and got, I believe that's called a code 128. Anyway, I believe I got that from Wikipedia, the example that I'm using. And so we're going to set this thing in and try to size it up so it will look good. It's very white along that background, so we'll adjust that here in a second, but let's get the sizing right. So I'm going to select a light color that's already in the design. Then we'll go to the magic wand and select all the white, hit similar to make sure we're getting all the white, and then we're going to create a new layer, and I will go to the paint bucket and click anywhere in the white, and it will automatically change that color. It actually is creating a new layer. So let's try that. Okay, here is our old design, and here is the new and improved design. And as I mentioned, adding this gives it more of a reason to be there. There's just stuff, and it doesn't really stand out. But you scan it, that's much smaller. You can see these two, and both of them scan equally well. So I certainly like this better. Let's see what else we have. One thing, I have a website that is industrialfringedesigns.com. All of the images that I'm using today, I think all of them I created, and they are all on the website. Some of them, for example, this one has a blank space, so you could put your own QR code in there when you're selling tumblers. Here's one that I've had on the website for quite some time. And if you can see right here is my QR code. The digital design that I sell has a blank here. So it's a great spot for you to put your QR code, which I have no problem doing as long as you're not selling the digital designs. Let's see what else. Here's an example of one I don't really love, and I've since taken it off. This is one of my little doggy tumblers that sells quite well, and I had put my my QR code on there. I took that off because I don't think it looks good. Great example of it not looking so hot. So what else do we have? So I've just started. One of the things that I'm going to be doing on not all new designs that I do, but on some, is I'm going to either leave a place that you can add a QR code, or I'm going to create two designs, one that would be hard to put a QR code on, and another version that you can easily put one in. This is just blank without the QR code on the design that I sell because it looks fine without it. This is a best dad ever design that I just created last week. It's got some gears all around, and it does not have a QR code. But on the website, if you were to buy this design, you get two versions. You also get this design, and in this design, I added the QR code here. So let me go to the computer and show you exactly what I did to create that space for a QR code. Okay, so I want to put the QR code onto one of these gears and not in the open, more visible area. So what I need to do is I need to create a solid space. So I'm going to get my default brush and use one with a little bit of a fade on the edge, and then I'm just going to go in with the clone stamp and try to create a bit of a solid surface using that teal color so we can put the QR code. And we just want to clone stamp that to get it as close to solid as possible. And now let me grab the QR code. I'm going to use the magic wand and select a black area, click similar, copy that, and then I can come back to my design and paste it in so I'm getting only the black. And then we'll reduce this down. Remember, a QR code doesn't have to be very large. If you want to ever test one out, just reduce it to the size that you think you need and print a copy out and see if it works. Anyway, let's put this in the area that we have created. Yeah, I don't love that. So let's use the shape tool and let's get us a rounded, edged rectangle little box using the color, one of the colors there in that. And I think we'll put that behind the QR code and just be extra safe. I think that'll help a lot. And I think that is going to just about do it. So there you have it with the QR code. I probably could have just put one design on the website for sale and had the space with the QR code, but I don't want to do that. So there's two versions. I'm going to try to do that more often, either have a spot that the QR code will fit well or another design that's got a space for it. And I can tell you, I could have put it right here or right here, but I think that would have stood out way too much. So I wanted to blend it in with here. All right, what else do we have? So I have a series of risque tumblers. Fast forward if you could be offended easily. And there is a disinfect the blank out of everything. Little childhood book, Shattered Dreams books is what I call them. Part of the Shattering Your Childhood Hopes and Dreams collection. I also have a Billy is an Asshole Hey Bambi, say hi to your mom for me. Also, great Mother's Day, Mommy drinks because you're bad. And of course, lastly, well, I've got more of them, but that I've got here is Polly paints a penis. All of these are part of the Shattering Your Childhood Hopes and Dreams.com edition. Now, let me tell you what I did. I went and bought the domain name Shattering Your Childhood Hopes and Dreams.com. And the reason I did is because I want control over it. I don't want somebody else to go in and be able to sell things. It's probably going to remain dead and not add anything to it. I was thinking someday maybe I'd do Spencer's Gifts, kind of funny, Shattering Your Childhood Hopes and Dreams merchandise, but I doubt it. And then finally, the images I really, really like, I just created these, they are on the website, are the bridal images. And I have a bride and a groom, bridesmaid, best man, flower girl. I've got a lot of them. Hang on, what do I have? IndustrialFringeDesigns.com. All tumbler designs, 20-ounce designs, 49 different designs. So I've got bride, groom, I've got partner in black and white. I've got bride and groom. The groom says Mr. Right and the bride says Mrs. Always Right. I've got a place that you can put a name. I've got them that aren't sideways. I've got designs so that this is straight, so you can put a wedding date and names. I've got mother of the bride, maid of honor, best man, bridesmaid, groomsman. Anyway, there's a bunch of them. On the bride and the groom, not all of them, but on the bride and the groom, I have two versions. One is blank and the other one has a blank space for a QR code. Now let me tell you when I would use this QR code. If I were a wedding planner, I would get these or I would include these and I would put my QR code in that spot. That's probably what I would do. On a side note, if you're ever interested in these, this is on a shimmery white tumbler and this is on a matte black tumbler, and they look really awesome together. The backs of these have the marriage, wife marriage nutrition facts and husband marriage nutrition facts, some really funny stuff. On the guys, one person is always right, the other is you. Marriage is like a walk in the park, Jurassic Park. Marriage math, if you have $20 and your wife has $5, your wife has $25. Anyway, a whole bunch of those. Those are on the website as well. But I have a bunch of versions of a couple of these that some have the space for the QR code. Where are other places that you can put QR codes? Just make sure if you're using QR codes, don't make them extremely blatant if it's on a tumbler, because I don't think most people really want to see that. And if you put it on a tumbler, figure out a way to put it small. If you design your own tumblers, certainly you can add them in. If you don't, feel free to come check out IndustrialFringeDesigns.com, because I'm going to begin adding spots to be able to add your own QR code. Another great example, this is my wife's business card. We added her QR code to the bottom. It's very small, but it does actually work. And then for your care instructions, I actually put a QR code there. So from a small business standpoint, at your checkout, you can have the QR code. On your business card, you can have it. Any paperwork that you have that the customer could take away, you certainly can add it to that. You can even put it at the front door where people can scan as they go in and out. Put it on the receipt, all sorts of places to put it. So that's about it for QR codes. I hope I answered a couple of questions. Definitely use them when you think that they can blend in and work real well. Don't use them when they're blatant in your face. I just don't think that looks quite as well. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Click the notification bell so you can find out when we make more videos. And if you haven't subscribed, definitely do that. We've got some more videos coming up soon that I think are going to be really, really good. We have a Facebook group too, but the link will be in the description. The link also for the digital design website will be in the description. If you join the Facebook group, I have to ask for you to answer the question and agree to the group rules, or I will not be able to get you in the group, okay? I've got to do that. I've got to make sure that we've got a good, legitimate, fun group, and right now we do, and we need to keep it that way. So anyway, description or link is in the description for the Facebook group. So thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. Have a fantastic day. Shut the front door. For face group. And if you haven't subscribed, I think I'll be. Oh, why couldn't I have said it like that the first time? So definitely, I think this one looks good. We're gonna do it. We're gonna do it till we're satisfied. Do it. Shit. Gotta get in order. Gotta get in kind of order. Whoa. Denso. Foo. What's the QR code? Should you use it? So thank you much. Thank you much. And there's a distant fuck.